Let's step inside this brand new construction home where elegance meets everyday comfort. From the spacious open floor plan to the chef's kitchen with stone countertops and premium appliances. This home was designed for modern living. Imagine mornings on the front porch, evenings in your open living room, and weekends enjoying everything Ocala has to offer. Let's begin. Those of you that are new here, my name is Joe Denny. I'm a Florida realtor and mortgage broker as well. I'm able to shop multiple lenders with one credit pool. And on the QR code on the screen and down in the description, you'll get direct access to my calendar, which, by the way, not a lot of realtors' offices are open until 10 p.m. Eastern. So I stay open later to help the viewer like you that's working hard at a retail job, long hours, and you get home at 8, 9 p.m. and you want to get on the phone because you have that spark in you to talk about beautiful homes like this, and you want to figure out what could this cost me, and I also could do the financing as well. So reach out to me today, go on the QR code to get on my calendar, or if you're not ready for a phone call, the next link right after that is the VIP list. Just put your information there and I'll start sending properties like this directly to you. That way you're not waiting for these awesome videos where these properties might go pending, and you'll get them sent to you right away. All right, let's begin this tour outside. Ocala is actually one of Florida's fastest growing areas with consistent new construction. I mean, look, you have a house right here for sale, brand new home. Right across the street, you have another one right over there as well. A lot of job growth as well, which is fueled by healthcare, logistics, equestrian industry. This is the horse capital of the world, and new retail development. Property values continue to appreciate as families relocate for affordability and lifestyle. Stay tuned because this video is going to be a long one. We're going to do the home tour. We're going to talk about the numbers, the top employers in the area. We're going to show you a sample contract of what it looks like to buy a house like this, because I'm a fan of transparency. I want to make sure that the home buying process is as smooth as possible for you, the viewer. So this is going to be a long one. It's going to be like 30, 40, 50 minutes long, maybe an hour. Some of my videos are an hour long. But if you just want the walkthrough video on these homes, I have a separate channel where you'll find it on the description as well, where you'll just get the silent walkthrough of these homes. So let's get started. And if the sprinklers don't hit me, can I get around the house? Let's see. All right, so right off the back, this is your entrance. Massive curb appeal. You have all these beautiful flowers here. I'm digging the front porch, kind of. I'm just not digging the inconsistency of like porch, garden, porch. It's almost like, is it useful? I mean, you could put something here, but it's like you would have to step over here. But I don't know. It's definitely a unique front to the property itself. I think it would have been made more sense to just put like more like concrete there as well and just have a bigger slab. All right, let's come to the side of the house. And towards the end, you guys are gonna see like the drone footage and everything, so you get an idea of the aerials of where we're at. We're actually in Marion Oaks right now. I just wrapped up some appointment and it's 6:30 p.m. right now. So let's see if we can get this home tour done while there's still light out. All right, we are inside. For the price point, this is one of the most luxurious, elegant, magnificent homes that I've seen. You got these oversized cabinets with the crown molding, these awesome light fixtures here. Not only do you have a half bathroom as well, the home comes stacked with appliances already, including the washer and dryer. And I use the word stack because there's like a stackable, well, you'll see what I mean. And then you got this nice lanai back here. And You even have the connection already here. So if you want to kind of like build out like your outdoor kitchen, you kind of have that right there. So if you want that nice Florida vibe for the outdoor kitchen, I brought my handy dandy measuring tool. So let's measure the distance. All right, so now let's see. So we have 10.89 from here all the way to over there. And then from top to bottom, we're working with 9.65. So 10.89 by 9.65 top to bottom. And then from here to here, give you guys we got 5.42. This is your backyard. So you got one light fixture over there, and then you got two lights here where you can kind of like maybe replace that with some ceiling fans for the future. That'd be pretty nice. All right, we're inside. So they kind of continue the stonework from the countertops to also include it as the backsplash as well. So they gave you extra stone, so you don't just have like a plain bare background there, which gives it a nice touch. It's gonna be your view. You have this massive wall. It's probably where you're gonna put the TV at. Right over there, you're gonna have access to your 2-car garage, and the garage floor is finished for you. Got that epoxy stuff. Let's check it out. Now, I'm always gonna be transparent. And the first thing I noticed is that these two things are kind of slanted. So not a big deal, something to negotiate later. If you wanna work with a realtor like me who's gonna look for issues for you guys, help you out, this is your garage. So we're working with 19 by 18.78. And then from floor to ceiling, we have 9.68. Super clean garage. Looks like this panel just kind of came off here. Might be a quick fix to just, well, during the inspection, we'll look for more issues. This green looks kind of weird too over here. I didn't finish painting that, so if that's a deal breaker, let me know. We'll negotiate that as well. This is actually one of those smart garage openers, the MyQ one, where you can download the app and then you can actually control it from wherever you're at in the world. And it has cool features where if, like, let's say you have a package coming or Amazon or something, it could lift just high enough so that they can like slide the package in and then it can actually close as well. So that's a pretty cool feature that this garage door opener has. So it definitely puts some money into that. And even when you walk into the house at the very beginning, you have a smart door lock, which if I'm not mistaken, you can actually put like a fingerprint right over there. That's fire right there. What's next? Like face recognition? You probably got that already. And you got that brand spanking new door. Look, the plastic is still on it. All right, and then you got like a little window right over here on the door. What are you guys' thoughts on this window here? Maybe put like a little blind there. All right, so let's talk about this living room. So let me put you guys over here so we can kind of get an idea of what we're working with. So I got my laser tool. All right, so we got 16.42, and then we just got to figure out where we're gonna kind of start. So the camera might lose a little focus. Let's see. Let's say we start over here by 16.86. So that's gonna be your living room dimensions there, the 16.42 by 16.86. I don't see like a formal dining room situation here. So this will be a good floor plan if you're not into that. This is open floor plan as well. Over here, you have a half bathroom. Right when you walk in, over here, you're going to have access to your air handler. And we got bedroom number 1. So you're facing the side of the house. As far as like dimensions go, we got working with, let's see, 9.89 by 9.91. Right over here, you're gonna see the closet, and you'll face the outside of the house right through there. Let's go to the next one. This is where you're gonna have your laundry room right over here with that stackable washer and dryer, which actually comes included with the property. You have an LG ThinQ washer and dryer, stackable unit right there. All right, so we're in the next bathroom. This one's gonna be a full bathroom. So far we have 1.5 bathroom. And you can kind of see similar finishes to the first one, but way more space. And then you're gonna actually have the tub right over here. I kind of would bring that up during the inspection, like the discoloration of the mix matching right there, just to have that kind of finished off. You know, you are buying a brand new house. Get you a realtor like me that's gonna look for issues. All right, and then you kind of have behind the door like a miscellaneous space here. It just feels kind of plain to me. I'm not sure what you can kind of put back there. If you guys want to chime in on the comments. All right, we got 2 of the rooms here. Okay, so we got 1 room here. So this one's going to be 9.78 by 9.94. So for those of you who round up, you got 10 by 10, I guess. This one looks a little bit longer. 13.56. So definitely a longer room right away. 13.56 by 10.12. All right, so far we found one of the biggest rooms. That's not the primary. So whoever wants the bigger room can be in this one. All right, let's head out to your primary. Now this is one of those floor plans where the primary is at the front of the house, where most of the time the primary is in the back, and you got these 3 windows right there. So let's look at dimensions. We have 12.86 by 15.06. Massive, absolute massive room. Definitely the biggest one in the house. All right, we got 2 closets. This is closet number 1. And then we have closet number 2. This one feels a little bit bigger right over here. And then we have, quite possibly, one of the nicest bathrooms in this price point. So you have your tub, and then you have your shower. You have the toilet with the privacy, with the room right there. 2 sinks right there. You got a small little closet there for linen. And then you have this glass enclosure surrounding the shower. Super elegant. Got kind of like a rainfall shower head going on over here. And then you have a little towel holder here, a little towel rack there. Definitely one of the nicest bathrooms that I've seen in this price point. Now, let's go over some numbers, what a sales contract looks like, some of the top employers in the area. So if you stuck around this long, like the video. We're at 5,000 subscribers. So thank you for all the families that are reaching out for help. We're on our way to 6,000 subscribers. So subscribe right now so we can get there faster. We're about to go over some of the property details here so you guys can get an overview of what we're kind of dealing with here. So we're in Unit 6 of Marion Oaks. So Marion Oaks, as it continues to develop, they have multiple units and they have multiple schools as well. They just built a new school down the street. They're building a high school as well. This home is priced at $323,900. So you're able to get such a modern, luxurious, ample floor plan with like the extra bathroom, the oversized lanai, the beautiful, bathroom for the primary. This is a magnificent property. This is a 4.5, 1816 square feet on a 0.23 acre lot. So we're just under a quarter with a 2-car garage. And the builder is called Pratty Homes. This is their model 1816. Obviously built in 2025 because it's a brand new construction, move-in ready. We do not have an HOA or a CDD here. Some of the extras, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, is the washer and dryer, solid wood cabinets with the stone counters and the premium appliances. Let's talk about some of the top employers in Marion County. So you're gonna have HCA Florida Ocala Hospital, Advent Health Ocala, Public Supermarkets, Regional Distribution. So if you're looking for a job, you can kind of those are some of the top employers in the area. And I can also help you with the financing. So if you need a mortgage broker, I can help you on the financing side and the real estate side. And to get the best deal as far as minimal down payment or programs, you have to have a job lined up. And we'll talk about that on our conversation if you book a call with me on what it looks like to get pre-approved to buy a property out here. Another employer that's pretty big in the area is gonna be Lockheed Martin. Then you got Marion County Public Schools, the City of Ocala, which is Marion County government, Amazon Fulfillment Center. I actually have a client right now who's gonna transfer to work there. And I think she mentioned that was a recent building that opened up there. I'm not sure how new that is. Equestrian related industries, the World Equestrian Center is not too far from here. Walmart distribution. You have the Paddock Mall and the regional retail employers as well in there. And then we'll talk about numbers in a bit. But before we talk about numbers, I want to kind of give you guys an idea of where we are actually located. So you kind of see there that it says Paddock Mall. Within 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to have access to the supermarkets, the Walmart. You drive a little bit further out, 20 to 25 minutes. Now you have access to the mall, the movie theaters. Within 20 to 30 minutes, now you really have access to a lot of things. If you have a family, there's the Chuck E. Cheese, the Sky Zone. There's multiple dining options out there as well. You have access to State Road 200, where there's so many things to do. The Target, the Crumble Cookie, multiple Tesla supercharging stations throughout, 2 movie theaters. On Tuesdays, I would go to Regal where you can get a good deal. It's like $6 or $7. But if you do it through the app, you're not gonna get the best deal. You're better off going straight to the concessions and get a better deal there because there's a weird convenience fee that they have on the app that makes the ticket a little bit higher. So you have 2 different movie theaters within a 30-minute radius. So for those people who think, okay, Ocala's in the middle of nowhere, you're able to get a home like this for a great price with peace and tranquility in your subdivision community right around you with no HOA and no CDD. And then within 20, 30 minutes driving, you have everything. You got different supermarkets. Out here in Marion Oaks, there's Jamaican restaurants. You're gonna have Mexican restaurant. There's a Puerto Rican restaurant, a Dominican food truck as well. So many things to choose from. And then you got the fast food as well. I would say if you're watching this video, if you've never been out here, before you buy a house, take a trip out here. Reach out to somebody like me who's willing to work with you and would show you around before you make a purchase, because other realtors are going to tell you, don't call me unless you're ready. But not me. I'll help you out. And as far as me helping you out, I can help you out with numbers as well. Let's talk about what some of the numbers look like on a property like this. Now, a big controversy when you're buying a house is property taxes. And the reason why is because right now the property taxes are going to be on just the dirt itself around the house. Now the house and the structure is here, the taxes have to get reassessed, recalibrated, rebalanced. But what's going to happen is they're going to go up. And that actually scares a lot of people because the property taxes actually correct themselves. If you go to the Marion County Property Appraiser's website or the tax collector's website, they have a tool that you can use right now. If you pause the video and Google Marion County Ocala tax estimator tool, you put in a purchase price, you answer some questions of where you're buying the home. Like this one is in Marion Oaks. There's Silver Springs Shores. There's like different sections to Ocala. We're in the Marion Oaks section right now, and it'll give you an estimate for the taxes. As a mortgage lender, mortgage broker that works with mortgage lenders, we have to figure out what your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance are going to be. And I'll show you some payment estimates there, but we don't control your taxes and insurance. So you would help us by meeting us in the middle by doing due diligence and calling the tax collector yourself so that there's no sticker shock later. But what the big controversy is that when somebody buys a house and a mortgage broker or a realtor or a builder doesn't correctly collect the correct amount of taxes every month, about a year later, a few months later, when it's time to actually pay your property taxes, there's something called an escrow shortage. We try to avoid that by overestimating what these numbers could be. So we're going to estimate a $4,696 annual tax number, $400 a month. Homeowners insurance, we're going to estimate $150 a month, which I've actually had a few deals recently where the insurance was like $800 for the year. So you could save some money there. When you're buying a home, there's something called closing costs. Those are some fees associated with the purchase of the home. You're going to have to pay like inspectors, appraisals, title companies. What I like to do is just give you an estimate of like 4%. But since I'm also a mortgage broker, I can actually give you an itemized loan estimate, which is called the fee worksheet. So reach out to me if you want a more like a estimate for your scenario there. These loan scenarios are going to be based on these interest rates here, based on the rates in the market. If you go with a VA loan, 0% down, that means that you're financing 100% of the deal. A VA loan versus an FHA or a conventional loan, it's going to have a higher loan amount because nothing was put down towards the loan. But there's still closing costs when you're getting a VA loan. And I make it my mission to help all clients to get some or all of their closing costs covered. Some of the recent success stories that we have right now is we got one client, $12,000, another one, $10,000, another one, $15,000. I don't think any of my recent deals have gone through without getting some sort of concession. So this is definitely the market to get you a deal. So 0% down payment, it's gonna be on the VA. Principal and interest will be about $2,000. Taxes and insurance, you'll be around mid 500s, which puts your monthly payment for this house on a VA loan right around $2,500 a month. On an FHA loan with 3.5% down, what's gonna happen is your total should float in the mid to high 2,000s, so $2,600 right over here. Conventional 5% down, you're gonna be right around $2,639 a month. Now, if you wanna buy this home from a different state, let's say you're watching from California, New York, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, wherever you're watching from, and you wanna buy it as a 10% down secondary home, it might be around the low to mid 2,000s right over there. You have 20% down and you don't wanna pay the mortgage insurance, you'd be in the low 2,000s right over there. Something that's interesting that some people don't know is when you put a certain amount of money down, like let's say 20% down, and you buy it as an investment property, you can actually waive escrows, which means you can pay your property taxes and insurance separately, so that every month you're just collecting principal and interest, the bank's collecting that, and you can cash flow better from your tenant. And if you're trying to buy it as an investment property and you write off a lot of your income, I have products available that are not going to use tax returns. They're not going to use your income. They'll basically send an appraiser out here and they'll determine what the rental could be on this property. And if it balances out with what the mortgage is going to be, it's called the DSCR loan, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio loan. Then they'll just ask you for like your down payment, some closing costs, and boom, we get to closing and we can add as many properties to your portfolio as you would like. And then as the equity starts growing in the property, whether it goes up or down, what's going to happen is we can then cash out equity out of one of your properties and then acquire more properties that way. So if you want to build a massive portfolio, basically reach out to me and we can start that process. I wanted to tell you guys, something about when you're buying a property about the mortgage that a lot of people don't know. In the month that you buy the house itself and the mortgage closes, the bank has to calculate a prepaid amount of interest until the end of that month. So assuming that you had a mid-September closing date, the bank's gonna calculate mid-September to end of September for how much prepaid interest they're gonna collect. October will not have a mortgage payment, so you kind of skip a month. You don't skip a payment, but you skip a month. So you could buy yourself a few weeks. November will be your first mortgage payment. I just met with a client earlier today. They found me on TikTok, super awesome couple. And we were talking about their timeline about leaving one property to get into another one. And we're coming up with an awesome game plan, which is gonna allow them to skip that month and move out of their lease right away to get into their home. So that's something you might not know, but that's some good news for you right there, where you can skip a few weeks to like make your first mortgage payment. This is what a contract looks like when you're putting an offer together for a property. This is the standard FAR/BAR contract. It's written by lawyers. It's a template. We just fill out a few things on it. And some of the bigger builders use a different contract, but we use this one here to kind of like go over like what we would do. Now let me show you like what some of the sections are on this contract itself. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have the parties filled out right over there. So it's gonna be the seller and the buyer. And when it's new construction, typically it's a business that owns it, like an LLC or something like that. Here's something that I just found out recently. I've been doing this for like 6 or 7 years. I just showed 20 houses the other day, and they were the exact same house and same listing agent. And I'm telling the listing agent that, hey, we're gonna find a house that we like, and it's the same house, so it's probably the same owner, and we're gonna just try to see which one has the most negotiation power. And the agent's like, perfect, because let me know which one it is, because different houses have different owners. And they explained to me this process of like how the contractor or builder does joint ventures with regular people like me and you, and those 20 different houses could have 20 different owners. So if you're looking to invest in real estate, I'm not the plug, I haven't done it yet, but that's gonna be my next venture, investing directly with those contractors into real estate where they're building these beautiful homes that are, you know, being sold. So if you're looking for that, let me know and I connect you with the right people. But back to the point of this side of that, as your agent, I gotta figure out which house you like, and 3 different homes that are exactly the same, different lots, could have 3 different owners, 3 different motivations. So it's gonna be kind of like a game of figuring out which one will give us the best deal. And I did it recently and we were able to get a good deal. Now, this section here is gonna outline the actual property address, legal description, and the tax ID as well. Over here, in case you wanna pause the video, and if you guys want a copy of this contract, let me know and I will send it to you. That section there is gonna outline what personal property is included. So you have the refrigerator, you have the dishwasher, you have the range, you have the microwave, you have a washer and dryer there. But the thing is, if we don't actually write the washer and dryer into this contract, then it's not included. Now, of course, the seller's gonna give it to you, so they're gonna, you know, give it to you, but you gotta make sure you have a realtor on your side to protect you, because we would have to actually write it into the contract because it's not assumed. Anything that's gonna be excluded from the contract would be there. That happens more with like resale homes. So like a fancy chandelier, a Ring doorbell, a specific ceiling fan, a specific refrigerator that you spend extra money on, and the one you're gonna actually sell the home with is in the garage or something. So it would be written there what's being excluded from the purchase itself. Now, when it's time to figure out what you're going to offer, we have to put it in here what your offer price will be. Whatever you decide to put, you gotta figure out then what will be my initial deposit 72 hours later. You don't send me the money or to the seller's agent, it goes to a title company, typically 1% to 10% of the purchase price. I have gotten away with deposits as low as $1,000, and I just got one the other day as low as $500 as well, which is pretty awesome. This is the section that's gonna be filled out with the seller's preferred title company. So that's who you're gonna deal with, that's gonna handle all the money, and they're gonna basically receive paperwork from everybody to basically consolidate everything, reconcile everything to get to closing, and then the final paperwork, they'll make you sign it. Depending on what loan you go with, this is where we're gonna put the financed amount here, and this is what's gonna be the cash to close. The rest of the down payment, excluding your closing costs, prepaids, and prorations. we have to give these sellers some time to look at these offers. So in this section, we're gonna put typically 2 days, and then over here, we're gonna put how many days we want for closing. Now, I wanna show you guys some of the things that we do to kind of like protect our buyers and their deposits. One of the first things I do is add a contingency. A contingency is just a fancy way of saying a protective clause, something that I'm adding to the contract to protect you and your deposit. And the first one is the financing contingency. And what that means is we do something at the beginning that's called pre-qualification or pre-approval. They run credit, collect documents, ask you to fill out an application. There's a story being told there of like, this person could possibly qualify. Then once you have a contract, we're trying to figure out how to get it to an actual approval. And if something happens that prevents us from getting actual approval, that's not your fault. You got to read this paragraph to kind of like to understand how that would work. Like if you lie to the bank or something or hold something back, you're going to be held at fault. The bank's not going to be at fault. But if you're truthful, transparent, you're honest, you're moving with speed and everything, with good speed, and something just doesn't work out for some reason that they didn't see at the beginning, you're going to be protected by the financing contingency. One of the other things is this section here is going to talk about what some of the fees are that the seller pays to sell the house, which we don't care about, and what the buyer pays to close on the house, which is what we call closing costs. There's going to be a breakdown of that. But if you want the actual numbers, I usually estimate like 4%. But if you want your actual numbers, let me know and I can simulate what your numbers would be. We want to make sure to give the title company some time to clear title for you and to give you clean title and paperwork as well. Now, one of the most important sections, right, other than like the financing contingencies, is your property inspection right to cancel period. These are brand new homes. And you don't want to not get a home inspection. You don't want to move in and then find out later that something's up that you could have figured out during the home inspection. Now, these companies have great warranties. A lot of these builders have contract with great warranty companies. But why chase that work order later on, and get on queue or whatever, when you can literally figure out the issue earlier and have a builder fix it because they want to close on time. So I wouldn't skip the home inspection. But if you don't have the money to do it, and I can't really control that, there are some inspection companies that will do like a buy now, pay later type of thing also. I just heard about that. I've been doing this for like 7 years and I've never seen that. But now I've seen of some inspectors saying, we'll do it now and we'll charge you later. It's pretty cool. But it's not that they'll charge you contingent upon the purchase because they did the job already. They'll still charge your credit card later. In this paragraph, it's gonna outline your rights of right to cancel period. We'll typically put like 7 days there. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill out any addendum or addenda that's going to be put together with the contract itself. These are additional things that we would add to the contract. For example, if you're getting an FHA loan, we would check off the FHA one. If you are getting an appraisal contingency, we would check that off. I feel like every offer should have an appraisal contingency. We are not in the market to overpay for properties. Maybe like a few years ago, when the market was hot, you could have overpaid, but I don't think we should overpay for property. If you're able to negotiate a pre-closing occupancy, it's so that you can move in earlier before closing. That's what we would check off. And if a seller was staying past closing, that would be the post-closing occupancy. Now, as far as compensation works on the real estate side, I typically will ask for the seller to pay my commission. So I would have a document in here that we call the CASB1. There's a lot of different documents for compensation. That's the one that I would have there for the seller to basically pay me. Now, when we are asking for closing costs or concessions, we'll put it in the additional terms and we'll say something like, all parties agree that the seller will contribute up to X amount of dollars towards buyer's closing costs or prepaids. And that's pretty much the end of the contract. That's an overview of what that looks like to basically put an offer together for a property. If you found any value in this video, consider subscribing. We're on our way to 6,000 subs. I'm about to put the drone in the air so you guys can get an aerial view. And if you want to see this house, reach out to me. And don't forget that in the description and the QR code as well, you'll have my direct calendar working until 10 p.m. Eastern today. And you'll have my VIP list as well. And I'll put my pre-approval link as well down there, some reviews and a whole bunch of other things as well. But that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me on this journey of this beautiful home. And I'll see you guys in the next one.